After the demise of her father, King George, Queen Elizabeth II mounted the throne in 1952 at the age of 25. The Queen, whose reign transformed the British Empire, maintained strong and robust ties between Britain and its former colonies in a momentous period that greatly strengthened relationships among Commonwealth nations.
The Gambia has had its fair share of royal visits to the modern era dating to 1925, when the then Prince of Wales, who later became King Edward VI, and who is an uncle to the late Queen Elizabeth II, visited. In 1957, the Duke of Edinburgh, the late Prince Philip, also visited for 3 days in January 1957 to the Gambia. And this visit is really outstanding because he spent a few hours like in Batos, but spent most of the 2 days of his visit visiting the protectorate, the provinces. In 1985, the Queen's daughter, Princess Anne, also visited to attend the 20th independence anniversary.
Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II visited various African countries during her reign, including the Gambia, which was part of British colonies and a long-standing member of the Commonwealth, which maintains strong relations with the United Kingdom. In 1961, Queen Elizabeth II visited the Gambia as part of the royal tour of West Africa and was warmly welcomed at the capital's Makati Square in Bathurst, now Banjul. The Queen visited several communities, including the famous Kunta Kinte Island, where thousands of Gambian slaves were kept in the peak of the British Empire.
Now, in 1961, December 3 to 5, the late Queen also visited for 3 days. Okay, he arrived in the morning, Sunday 3rd December 1961, and you can see the civic ceremony at the Makati Square, the crowd, the school children. And then on the 5th of December, the Queen visited Njawara in the North Bank, but she did so traveling along the river, because she used a Land Rover to go to Bintang, and then at Bintang she traveled to Njawara, through the Mining Bolong, on the launch called the Mansakila Kuta. And that was a state vessel, and that took her to Njawara, and you can see the welcome there also. Now, why Njawara? Because it was a trade center.
The Queen, whose reign undertook successful reforms granting independence to Britain's African colonies, was widely criticized for the monarch's continuous control over Africa.
In royal families, throughout Europe, and by the way, we have to state that, the royalty is not anodyne in the UK, meaning some people like it, some people don't like it. All the royal families in Europe have had, their hands into the transatlantic slave trade, into the colonial exploitation, like the Belgians, King Leopold, who arrogated to himself, the whole of the DRC, as we call it today, and exploited that country dry, okay, and so on and so forth. And it is also true that these royal families were really the mainstay of the colonial project. Because the Queen, for example, was our head of state from the time she came to office in 1952 until the time we became independent in 1970. But we also, for the sake of, like the historical record, it is also important to state that the British, the late British Queen, also really symbolized the decolonization movement. Okay. This is the other part of it. Almost all African countries became independent under her watch, from the Gambia to Sierra Leone to Ghana to Kenya to Lesotho, Botswana, you name them. Okay, and usually these royal visits, particularly the 1961 visit, accorded her the opportunity to really sort of, feel the pulse, okay, of the people.
During her visit in the Gambia, Queen Elizabeth met over 30 chiefs who pledged their loyalty to the monarch. Her Majesty's West Africa tour was a crucial engagement that strengthened ties between Britain and its colonies, who were beginning to gain sovereignty. The royal family went on to maintain a strong relationship and affection for the Gambia, which continued to receive more British royals, with the most recent tour happening in 2018, when the Queen's successor to the throne, King Charles, visited the Gambia with Her Royal Highness Queen Consort Camilla. In February 1965, Prince Edward, Duke of Kent, visited the Gambia to hand over the instrument of independence, marking the end of British rule in the Gambia. The Gambia has been part of the Commonwealth until its withdrawal during Jammeh's regime and later rejoined in 2018 when the Barrow administration came in. The Gambia is one of the countries benefiting from Commonwealth opportunities in education and sports. The Queen's demise is being widely mourned around the world, including in the Gambia, and a book of condolence has been opened at the British High Commission, which was signed by President Adama Barrow, who also met the Queen during a visit to England in 2018. The bond between both countries is expected to solidify and greatly thrive as Prince Charles now becomes King of the United Kingdom and 15 territories outside Great Britain. Aminata E.Sanyang, GRTS.